Witchcraft history and the ancient world. Magic and witchcraft were part of the fabric of the ancient world. The old gods inspired devotion among humans. Sorcerers and magicians inspired respect and fear. Eventually, two new forces were to dominate the landscape of human beliefs: Christianity and the devil. Most societies in the world have a tradition of witchcraft. Many societies also revered goddesses such as Ishtar, Isis, who were linked with magic and witchcraft. Meanwhile, the Hebrews developed the idea of an evil god or devil, which in turn came to be identified in Western culture with anyone who performed witchcraft. Since the dawn of time, magic has had a powerful allure for people and has attracted people of all types and from all backgrounds. The use of magic, in which the force of a person's will harnesses natural forces to influence events or outcomes, is common to most cultures around the world. At its most basic, such magic is not part of a religion, but could be referred to as simple magic, in which terms certain acts are carried out to produce defined effects. This might be sticking a pin in the image of someone who caused harm to that person, or having sex in a newly sown wheat field to ensure that the coming harvest is a good one. It could be burning a candle for money, or performing a spiritual healing. This form of folk magic is similar to that was practiced by those so-called cunning folk or wise men or wise women who survived the persecutions of the European and North American witch crazies in the late Middle Ages and the early modern periods. These traditions lasted into and beyond the 20th century, although today this folk magic is practiced by only a few. For these people, spells to mend a broken heart, cure warts or other ailments, or simply to bring good luck were not and are not the rituals of a religion. They were, as they saw it, simply harnessing the natural powers of the world around them, making the hidden connections that for them exist in the unseen world. A different form of magic is that where spirits and ultimately gods are invoked in the process of rituals. Here, the magic is an integral part of a system where the participants have set beliefs that seek to explain humanity's place in the world. And this kind of magic is closely related to what is practiced by most modern witches, those who are part of the Wicca or witchcraft religion. These witches are still tapping the natural forces of the world and point out that such magic is not supernatural as such. It is simply using hidden laws of nature that science has yet to understand. However, the rituals are in context of worshiping or revering to such gods and goddesses, who are in turn but many different aspects of the true one deity. At the heart of this belief system is the role of the goddess, Mother Nature, or as she is known as, the Lady. In exploring the development of such religious witchcraft in ancient times and illuminating some of the most powerful deities of time. Many of the old gods revered today by modern witches have their origins in the cultures of the Near and Middle East, where goddesses, gods, and magicians were the heart of societies. The gods and witches of the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Egyptians in turn influenced the Hebrew world and its view of magic and gods. The shifting view of magic through this crucial period in history has profoundly affected the way that the Western world views witchcraft. When people today confront the reality of witchcraft, they are doing so with assumptions that go back thousands of years. Witchcraft has always been associated with nature and the natural elements. Witches believe that magic is part of the world around us and can be supernatural or not. The goddess or Mother Nature has long been revered by many different cultures and is now the essence of the modern religion of witchcraft. The notion of the Mother Goddess was central to many ancient cultures and is at the spiritual heart of the modern mystical religion of witchcraft. But it has also been deeply controversial among historians and anthropologists. From the 19th century onwards, there was a growing consciousness among experts that a religion worshiping the Earth Mother or Great Goddess had preceded all other deity-based systems of belief. At the time, there was said to be a society, a theory that goes and becomes more patriarchal than the reverence for the goddess was supplanted by men who worshipped a more masculine god, such as the God of the Hebrews and later the Christians. This view of the goddess's mother deity was expressed powerfully The goddess Isis is seen as all-embracing, all-encompassing. From me come all gods and goddesses who exist. In 1948, the British poet Robert Graves followed other 19th and 20th century writers and published The White Goddess. In this book, Graves, too, suggested that there had been a pre-existing universal moon and earth goddess. Nowadays, however, the accepted view of most experts is that there is no evidence for a predating religion of the goddess. The archaeological and anthropological evidence suggests that societies began with small local deities, some of whom were later put into bigger, more powerful gods and goddesses. This does not mean, though, that the goddess did not play a central role in many of the ancient religions. As we saw from the depiction of Isis, and as we shall see from other examples, the goddess in the ancient world could be an immensely powerful, awesome deity representing the moon, the earth, fertility, and nature, as well as magic. What is clear is that the beginning of the early Christian era, and possibly earlier, the worship of the goddess was replaced during the intensely patriarchal society that developed. This eclipse of the mother goddess in Western culture, some would probably see it as a suppression, lasted until the revival of interest in the female deity and nature emerged in the literary and philosophical romantic movement of the 19th century. It now finds religious expression in modern Wicca. The echoes of the goddess did not disappear altogether. However, even from the ruthlessly dogmatic Christian church. For in the elevation of the Virgin Mary in Christian mythology, we see some strong similarities to the goddess deities of the past. Though Christian scholars have insisted that she is just human, it's a point that has perhaps been lost on the millions who have prayed to her over the centuries for comfort and guidance. To them, she performs some of the roles of a goddess. In particular, the image of Mary and the infant Jesus is strikingly reminiscent of that older image of the great goddess Isis and her son Horus, of whom more later. One more aspect of the goddess needs to be mentioned. Modern Wiccans revere three aspects of the goddess, the triple goddess. These are the maiden for virgin, the mother, and the crone, or hag. All are seen as equally important. The maiden is associated with spring, the waxing moon, and independence. The mother with summer, the full moon, and creation. The crone is associated with the growing darkness of autumn, the waning moon, and wisdom. In the ancient world, the word virgin in this context meant a woman who had not given birth or been married, rather than the modern sense of not having sexual intercourse. Different goddesses of the ancient world were associated with some or all of these. However, the crone aspect, which is supposed to represent the necessary introversion of darkness and winter as a persecutor to creation, has often been represented or misrepresented as dangerous and evil. This in turn helped color the way that many in the ancient world regarded witchcraft. In time, the Christian world was to use this image of the elderly female crone as part of its demonization of witchcraft. The waxing and waning of the moon was seen by people in the ancient world as symbolic of the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Mary was often said to represent two aspects of the triple goddess of the ancient world, the virgin or maiden, and the mother, and her image has been linked to Isis and Ishtar. The worship of the goddess declined in Western society, but survived in Christian tradition through reverence for the Mother of God, Mary, who fulfilled some of the functions of the Mother Goddess. The goddess Hecate was associated with crossroads and was often represented in triple form, looking into the past, the present, and the future. Offerings were often left for her at crossroads. The goddess or Mother Nature has long been revered by many different cultures and is now the essence of the modern religion of witchcraft. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have more history of witchcraft coming. If you did enjoy it, subscribe to my channel, and many blessings to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.